I was surfing for years in New Smyrna Beach in Florida, which is just south of Daytona and north of Cocoa Beach. So when I was working, I would schedule a meeting like on Thursday in Orlando area, and then Friday morning I'd kind of like play hooky a bit, and I'd drive over to New Smyrna Beach. I'd surf Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then work had to fly me back. So sometimes I would take Monday off, or I'd fly home Sunday night. So I would spend a lot of weekends throughout the winter surfing in New Smyrna. And there was many days or many weekends where the surf was just, like the swell wasn't good. And I was on the beach when talking to one of the local surfer guys there. You get to know people at these local breaks, and I was a bit disappointed. I'm like, damn, this is like the third weekend. I'm like, surf is really not good. And he's like, well, hey man, why are you surfing here? Why don't you just boogie over to Puerto Rico, go over to Rincon? And I'm like, hey, he's like, from here, it's a 2-hour flight from Orlando area.
Mhm.
I'm like, God, I kind of didn't think about that. And then that was it. That's all he had to tell me. I went home and started doing some research on Puerto Rico, Rincon, Aguada, Aguadilla, Isabela. There's that whole northwest corner. There's all kind of surf breaks there. And actually the 1966 like world championships or something were held in Rincon. And there's no families there. It's all the breaks, all the surf breaks are rock and coral bottom. So when I started going there several years ago, I just fell in love with the place, and I got to know the locals and some of the people, and got a great place to stay every time I go there. And it's when I first went there, there was some really territorial surf breaks. So like Domes in Rincon, Hobos in Isabela was really territorial, meaning the local Puerto Ricans surf these breaks and they see some gringo paddling out. They're like, oh no, you're not getting in our lineup, But I kind of knew this. I mean, you hear stories, I mean, about, incidents that happen with surfers. And the coolest thing that happened to me out there was I got to know some locals, and I met this little kid, Alejandro. He's like, I think he was maybe 10 years old at the time. And I went to Hobos in Isabela because I wanted to surf this break. It's kind of a famous, like Kelly Slater, if you know who he is. He's actually the GOAT, the greatest surfer of all time. I mean, Kelly Slater's been there. They've had competitions there. The way this break comes in, that the water comes, the waves come around this rock, and it's kind of a famous break. And I'm like, I just want to say I surfed Hobos. So although knowing it's territorial, and as a matter of fact, there's a guy that he calls himself Control. He's a local Puerto Rican guy who surfs. He's a great surfer. And his name isn't Control, but he calls himself Control, and everybody calls him Control. He controls the waters on who can surf.
Okay.
So my original plan was I was going to paddle around the front of the rock, and then go past the lineup. And in surfing, there's like a lineup. It's usually where the waves are breaking the best and there's a peak in the wave. Well, I'm not going to get in these guys' lineup. They don't know me. I'm the outsider, and I'm being respectful. So I was going to surf the shoulders of the waves, So as the wave was breaking, if they were getting them, I was going to get to the right of them and just take the shoulders and take the smaller rides. So the particular day I went to Hobos, I met Alejandro, this 10-year-old kid. He had his surfboard, and his dad was sitting on the beach, Puerto Rican family. And I had my keys for the car, and they could tell I was looking for a place to ditch the keys, like to hide them, because you can't, I'm going out to surf. I can't take my keys out there. So he's like, hey, do you want me to hang on to your keys for you? And I can tell he's a professor in Mayagüez. It's a big engineering school in Puerto Rico. I can tell he was a real nice guy, and his wife was real nice. I said, wow, thank you. Is that okay? He's like, yeah, no, we'll hold your keys. He's like, I gotta go out with my son. This is Alejandro. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, surf with my son. So Alejandro's like, yeah, come on, come on. They were like super nice. So I'm like, all right. So I'm paddling out to the lineup with this 10-year-old boy, and we're coming out together like this. And then the guy who controls the water, he's looking, and he sees me with Alejandro. So I was kind of okay. Like he must know I'm, but I still went off to the side of the lineup and I surfed the shoulders of all these waves. And once they see you can kind of paddle in and pop up and ride the wave, then they kind of look at you. Okay, Scrigo can, do a little something. So then after that, being out there for, I don't know, 2 hours or so, I paddled it, took a break, and Alejandro went in. And then that control came in, and then Alejandro's dad introduced me to control. Hey, this is our friend David. Like now I'm friend, it was just a pure coincidence. And so now I can kind of go to Hobos anytime. I was there in February. Actually, I surfed Hobos a few times when I was there. So anyway, and then there's there's probably 15 different surf breaks along that northwest corner. So it's not working in one place. I'll go to Wilderness, I'll go to Surfers Beach, I'll go to Domes, I'll go to Maritas, I'll go to parking lots. There's all these different surf breaks that you can hit at any time, and pretty much on any day you can catch some surf. So it's just a cool, it's just a cool place, and go hang out. The ultimate would be to be able to, brew there, have a little brewery, and surf at the same time. Cool. But